Welcome to the deep dive. I'm really glad you're tuning in today. We're going to explore something pretty fascinating and definitely growing Canada as, well, a top spot for Indian students. Our goal, not just scratching the surface, no. We want to give you the real story, kind of a shortcut, really, to understanding why Canada's become such a magnet. You've probably seen the headlines, but we're here to, unpack the why.
Yeah. And that why is, well, it's more critical than ever, isn't it? Making these big decisions about studying abroad, you need good information, solid information. So this deep dive, it's about getting past those headlines. We're going to look at the actual tangible benefits, the strategic reasons why this is happening, really help you grasp the bigger picture if you're considering Canada.
Okay, so let's dive right in. First thing that usually comes up, academic quality. Our sources keep pointing to Canada's world-class education. Now, that sounds great, but it's a bit of a buzzword, right? What specifically makes a Canadian degree stand out on, like, a global level? Is it certain programs or maybe how they teach?
That's a really important question
Hmm.
because world class can feel a bit vague. What's really notable about Canada's system, especially for international students, is this strong focus on practical, career-ready learning alongside those high academic standards. A lot of top Canadian universities, particularly in places like Ontario, British Columbia, they have these amazing co-op programs built right in. Think about like the University of Waterloo, it's basically famous for its co-op model. Or UBC, University of British Columbia, they've got great industry links too. Students in these programs, they often spend a good chunk of time actually working in their field while they're still studying.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, and we're not just talking about, a summer job. This is often paid, relevant work experience, sometimes a year, maybe even more. And that practical experience, it's a huge plus for employers worldwide. Makes graduates really competitive.
That's a really powerful point.
Mhm.
So it's not just the books, it's applying it right way.
Mhm.
That kind of real-world grounding must be, well, invaluable for starting a career. But let's be real for a second. International education, it usually means big costs. How does Canada measure up on the affordability side?
Right. And that's where things get, well, pretty interesting strategically. Even with this top tier education we're talking about, Canada generally offers more budget friendly options compared to, say, the US or the UK. Let's try and put some rough figures on it. A good bachelor's degree in the States or the UK might run you, I don't know, 40,000, maybe 60,000 US dollars a year, sometimes way more. In Canada, a similar quality program, you might be looking at something more in the range of, say, 20,000 to 35,000 Canadian dollars per year.
Okay.
And with the exchange rate, that often worked out to, maybe 15,000 to 26,000 US dollars. That's a significant difference. Makes the whole thing much more accessible financially.
That really is a huge difference, especially when you multiply it by 4 years or more.
Exactly. And it's not only the lower sticker price for tuition, you've also got the potential for scholarships, which can really help lighten the load. And these aren't just like for the absolute top geniuses. Canadian universities have a whole range, merit-based ones, need-based ones, even scholarships specifically aimed at international students. A lot of institutions actually want diverse student bodies, so these aids are genuinely available. So you're getting this fantastic education, but potentially without those, crippling costs you see elsewhere. It's a smart move financially for a lot of families.
That combination, quality plus affordability, that's really compelling. But okay, here's where I think it gets really interesting for a lot of people. The opportunities don't just stop there. We're talking about getting real-world experience while you're still a student. The sources say students can work while studying part-time during the term, full-time during breaks. So what kind of work are we actually talking about here? And how does it genuinely become valuable experience, not just, cash for rent?
Yeah, it's a super important part of the whole package in Canada. The rules generally let international students work up to 20 hours a week when classes are on, and full-time during scheduled breaks, summer, winter holidays, that sort of thing. And sure, it helps cover living costs, which is great, but the valuable experience part, that comes in a few ways. Students might find jobs right on campus, maybe as a TA or research assistant working in student services. That directly relates to their studies and builds their academic network. Off campus, okay, maybe you start in retail or hospitality, that's common. But lots of students move into roles that give them real insights into how Canadian workplaces operate. You develop those crucial soft skills: communication, teamwork, managing your time, solving problems, all within a new cultural context.
Right. So you're building that foundation, understanding the Canadian professional environment even before you graduate. That's got to be a massive head start. But this immediate work stuff, it leads to something even bigger for many students, doesn't it? Thinking long term.
It really does. That ability to work while studying often sets the stage for, yeah, a much bigger long-term picture. The post-graduation work permit, the PGWP, that's honestly a game changer. It lets eligible graduates stay and work in Canada for up to 3 years after they finish their program. And this isn't just about getting a job to pay off loans. Crucially, as our sources point out, this experience often leads to permanent residency.
Okay, that's a big claim. Leads to permanent residency. How does that path actually work for a student? Because let's face it, for a lot of people, that's the ultimate goal, even more than the degree itself.
It's definitely a key attraction. It's usually a multi-step thing, but the PGWP is like the essential first bridge. So you graduate, you get your PGWP, you work for, say, 1, 2, maybe 3 years in Canada. That Canadian work experience makes you a really strong candidate for various permanent residency programs. The main federal one is called Express Entry. It uses a points system, age, education, language skills, and crucially, that Canadian work experience. Having PGWP experience gives your score a significant boost. And then on top of that, most provinces have their own provincial nominee programs, PNTs. Ontario, for example, has the OINP with streams just for international students, especially master's or PhD grads, or those with jobs in fields like tech. BC has similar pathways. These programs are basically designed to keep talented people who've already shown they can contribute in Canada. So yeah, it's not just about getting a diploma, it's a very real potential pathway to building a whole new life. Stability, future prospects, it's all built into the system designed to integrate talent.
Wow, that's quite profound, really. An educational journey becoming a life journey. And I guess part of what makes that transition smoother and maybe more appealing is the environment itself. Canada has this reputation, right? As a safe and inclusive environment, we hear that a lot. But what does it actually feel like for someone moving from, say, India? What makes it tangible?
That's so important. Feeling safe, feeling included, it's fundamental for students to thrive, academically and personally. And Canada does consistently rank high on safety, quality of life, diversity. It's not just by chance. The country has strong laws protecting human rights, promoting equality. It really fosters a multicultural society. So if you're arriving from India, you'll find these vibrant Indian communities in big cities, Toronto, Vancouver, Montreal, Calgary. You'll find cultural centers, temples, gurdwaras, mosques, amazing food, festivals. That sense of community, that familiarity, plus government-funded services to help newcomers settle in, it really helps ease the stress of moving. It creates this supportive ecosystem where you can actually focus on your studies and growth, knowing you're in a generally tolerant and welcoming place.
So it's not just a number in a ranking, it's a lived reality of community support. And this supportive vibe, it extends beyond just the social side, doesn't it? It also seems to feed into this atmosphere of like cutting-edge development.
Exactly. That welcoming environment and Canada's commitment to progress, they're kind of intertwined. The country has real strengths in research and innovation, and that directly benefits students. We're talking top-tier facilities and cutting-edge research opportunities, and international students are often right in the mix.
That sounds really exciting. Can you give us some concrete examples? Where is Canada really pushing the boundaries in fields like tech, healthcare, engineering, the ones mentioned in the sources?
Oh, absolutely. Take Tech Canada is a global heavyweight in artificial intelligence research. You've got major hubs in Montreal, Toronto, Edmonton, universities like McGill, U of T, University of Alberta, they're world leaders, pulling in top talent, lots of investment from big tech companies. Students in those AI programs are not just reading about it, they're often working on projects shaping the future of machine learning, neural nets, data science. In healthcare, Canadian institutions are doing amazing work in areas like genomics, biomedical engineering, public health research, often with international collaboration. For engineering, think sustainable energy, aerospace, companies like Bombardier, advanced manufacturing, infrastructure projects. Many programs have design projects linked with industry. So what does all this mean for you as a potential student? It means you're not just absorbing existing knowledge. You get a chance to actually contribute to new discoveries, work alongside leading researchers, and position yourself in these high-demand fields that are really shaping tomorrow.
What an incredible picture that paints. From personal safety and finding a community right through to being involved in potentially world-changing research. It really ties it all together. So, okay, let's try and wrap this up. Bringing it all together, what we've talked about today really highlights why Canada's become such a strong contender. We've hit on the academic excellence, the real-world affordability, making it feasible, those practical pathways for working during and after your studies, potentially leading to residency. And then layered on top, this safe, inclusive, and genuinely innovative environment. It feels like all these pieces together make Canada a really compelling and kind of strategic choice for Indian students, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. And maybe the final thought, the question to leave with you, the listener, as you process all this, is how do these different factors, the academics, the costs, the career pathways, the lifestyle, how do they line up with your specific personal goals, your academic passions? Maybe you're really into, I don't know, quantum computing, and Canada has specific research hubs for that. Or maybe it's environmental policy or filmmaking. I'd encourage you to think about which particular Canadian universities or programs could best leverage these advantages for your unique journey. It's about finding how you fit into this picture, how you can tailor this Canadian opportunity to your own strengths and ambitions, finding your niche.
That's a perfect way to put it, finding your niche within that opportunity. Well, thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive exploring Canada's appeal. We really hope this chat has given you a clearer, maybe more nuanced view of what's on offer. Keep exploring, keep asking questions. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next time.